and welcome to the morning show. We're coming to you today on WJOPLP Newburyport at FM 96.3 on Channel 9, and will also be available on Newburyport Community Media's YouTube channel at ncmhub.org. I'm your host, Mary Jacobsen, and I'm delighted to tell you that today we're going to preview the Newburyport Choral Society's winter concert called Winter Fanfare, Songs of Hope and Joy, which will be offered on Friday, December 12th at 7:30 p.m. and Sunday, December 14th at 3 p.m., both concerts at Immaculate Conception Church on Green Street. And I'm also thrilled to tell you that I have the two perfect people to preview the concert with us this morning. Two of the shining stars of the North Shore's musical firmament are here with me. Dr. Minji Kim, Music Director of the Newburyport Choral Society, and Penny Lazarus, who is Membership Director and also Alto Section Leader. So first of all, Minji and Penny, thank you so much. I know this is a very busy season for you both, and I appreciate your taking the time to be with us this morning. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Minji, I wanted to start with you. You have developed a terrific reputation for being a very gifted concert programmer. Please let us in on your strategies. I've always been curious about how you do it. There's a whole cosmos of choral possibilities out there. And out of those infinite possibilities, you manage to pull together programs that are diverse musical styles and historical eras and composers that singers love to sing and that audiences love to hear. So how do you do it? And how does Winter Fanfare illustrate how you do it?
So that's this is a question that I can go on and on and on. I'll try to keep it concise and brief. First, I try to be excited about the program that I'm about to build, because I have to love this program so that I can convince my singers to also give a shot and also grow into love. So when I am thinking about developing a program, I usually try to keep this big map in my mind. So the big map, the goal or the destination would be the intention or the purpose or the message of the concert through these programs, through this music. So that map should convey specific intention and message. And I look for those pieces that may fit into those topic or the message. Sometimes some pieces come to my mind right away. Sometimes it doesn't really come. I have to try really hard to sit down and then what's the piece that can fit right here? And little secret is that I have this collection of pieces that I named dream pieces that I love as music itself. And there are a whole bunch of pieces, and I categorize them in ways that make sense to me. So like I put the length, the language, and the difficulty of the repertoire, but also the message. What has inside? What's inside? What's the key? How can it be weaved into some sort of program that I might develop in the future? So there are some like little written notes that I keep there with each piece, and they come very handy when I develop repertoire, because over time I collected quite a bit, and it's just nice to be able to go back and then like, re-listen to some of these pieces. Once I loved this piece and I really wanted to program, and then I think it's gonna fit right there. So so that's one thing that I do. I think a lot of choral directors also have their own bucket, of the pieces. And then as I'm doing that, I try to map out how. So one of the challenge in programming choral music or choral concert is that a lot of times we have this individual shorter pieces compared to like symphony that has multi-movements, that it on its own it has this continuity, but then we have to build that continuity and the flow using these little octavo pieces sometimes for choral concert. So how to do that can be tricky. So I try to think about the relationships between the pieces and the sets of the music. So the key relationships, where do we start? And then where do we go through, and then where do we end? So it could be the same keys, or it could be different keys with different intention. And then also instrumentation between the pieces, and of course language, and the tempo relationship is also important too. And I also try to think about golden ratio at the peak of the concert program. What are we doing there, like that climactic moment of the, I don't know, an hour and a half, let's say, that we have. What do I want to put there? Like, because human mind and, we rely on to those rhythms as well. So I think about those things. And so it's challenging, but it's very fun. And this is one reason that developing concert program can't be so that quick, because it needs time to just like sit and think through and reflect and imagine what it's gonna be like. So I try not to rush on these things and try to do it a little bit for a long term, and in my dream. And so this,
Your mind is very busy, in other words, while you're doing this. There's a lot to factor in, but I can also hear that it's a very creative process and a very fun and passion-filled process, and one in which you get to make a list of your dreams come true over time. And how long does it take?
I think
how far
it really
ahead of time
depends.
do you have
Sometimes I think of some particular concert if I know what's going to happen, like even 2 years down the road, especially with my collegiate groups, because I want them to experience certain pieces before they graduate. So within the time period,
as well.
So like what are they experiencing? What genres, what languages are they singing? And am I giving enough food for them to build upon? So building materials.
Their own repertoire of dream pieces. Well, thank you, Minji. That's really interesting.
And I have to say that Minji's wonderful organic process in putting programs together just is a little challenging. I'm her music manager, so I order the music for the orchestra and for Minji and for the singers. And sometimes Minji at the last moment will say, I think we should do this. And it's like, oh my gosh, can I get this in time for our rehearsals?
It's a real story.
And that's a different set of challenges.
Right. But we always manage it. And I love helping Minji make these programs come alive. There's another thing that we always have to consider is the reality of economics. So that while choruses want to perform the big works with large orchestras, we just simply can't afford to do that as often as we once did. And and if you can save money on smaller orchestral groups, like this Christmas concert is about the brass instruments, it can help us and save money for the big orchestral pieces later. But we always need to perform with orchestra instruments because that's the NCS calling card. Of all the other choral groups in the area, we always perform with instrumentalists. And another thing that Minji does, so I might just take a minute now to just sort of talk about the gestalt of the whole program, so that we've been along with Minji on this ride since September, and the way that choristers become to fall in love with their pieces takes time over rehearsal. But the more that I have been allowed to think about this programming, the more I realize how wonderfully set it is. And Minji will deny she is a genius for this, but I won't let her ever, none of us in course will let her forget that. So like another part that creates variety within the piece is in the concert, even if you feel like you don't usually attend choral concerts, there's this constant mixture of texture. So sometimes we're all singing in 4 parts, sometimes in 6 parts, sometimes we're in unison, sometimes only one voice is singing. There's going to be this little section of the chamber chorus in which Minji has put this group together because then we can sing Renaissance polyphony, and it's a much quieter sound. You don't use vibrato in your voice, and that's such another degree of texture within the concert. It brings the sound of 110 voices down to just 15, and then back up again. the concert begins with a fanfare. So the orchestra, the brass instruments will give us a fanfare as a welcome. But the very first piece that we're singing, African Noel by Andre Thomas, first of all, it's also so different because it's an African derived piece, and it's very rhythmic and has wonderful percussion with it. And if you remember our spring concert where we also performed an African-inspired collection, you know, this is really foot-stomping music, and the words have welcome in it. Welcome and welcome to this joy. So I know she put this first because literally, musically, it's welcoming the whole audience. And then it's followed by
we have a clip.
Okay, let's do a clip of that. Let's do that.
We have a photo of the composer, Dr. Andre Thomas, and we have a clip so you can hear what Penny has been describing. And by the way, this is not the Choral Society singing. This is the National Lutheran Choir. It's just a clip from them. And the photos you'll be seeing will be of the Choral Society, and we have Jeremiah True, photographer, to thank for those pictures. So let's listen to this clip. Yeah, that illustrates
Exactly.
and you can see why it comes at the beginning. It's pretty dramatic.
So Minji front-loaded a lot of familiar carols and audience sing-alongs. So it continues to bring everybody together. And what I love about Cecelia McDowell's A Winter's Night is it's all familiar carols, right, rearranged. So there's Minji again thinking, how can we bring our audience into the season with us in a way that's familiar with them? But these pieces in the suite that are done without stopping are beautifully rearranged. So it's something new and something familiar at the same time within A Winter's Night. Now, Minji doesn't know as I'm about to talk about this, and this is why I'm pushing to get this in.
Winter's news. Go for it, Penny.
Because the composer, in this case, the music director of the composing of the program, doesn't always see everything that they put in until you can sit back. So A Winter's Night begins with In Dulce Jubilo in Latin, which we're mostly familiar with. And then Cecelia McDowell, a British composer, brings that back at the very end as if the whole collection makes a circle. Then we go into some things that are new to us, like the chamber chorus works and the children's chorus from the Immaculate Conception. But at the very end of the concert, we sing, and it ends also on an upbeat, very joyous, with a piece, Christmas Time by Lord Larson, in which it invokes Angels We Have Heard on High. So there is
Gloria.
even Minji working with this complete circle of the familiar and the new.
Yeah. Well, shall we listen to a clip from A Winter's Night, one that people will recognize? And again, this is sung by, clip is by the Dalton Chorale. And I believe we can show a picture of Cecelia McDowell, who was born, I found out, the same year I was, but I won't tell you what year that was. And this is a German carol, so let's listen to that clip. So there you have, and there's the way that she does distinctive kind of harmonies on these things, and that's a mixture of the familiar. I actually I was not familiar with this piece until I learned it to sing, so it's very pretty though.
It's exquisite, like the way that she weaved through together different movements and how she makes just continuity between those pieces and the choices of harmonies and the texture with the brass instrument. It's so finely written that it's almost like when you are touching so carefully something that is very precious,
Delicate,
yes, and delicate.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's very pretty.
Yeah.
And she's a living composer. And Minji, you had an email correspondence
Yeah.
with her.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah. She was so generous.
Well, she better be living since she's born the same year I was. And again, I'm still not telling you. Well, one of the sections is called Hope That Is Forthcoming in the concert, and pieces that combine, there's a lot of different moods in the Christmas season, joy and hope, but also some sorrow. And I want to talk a little bit about a couple of those pieces. There's an Israeli one, Bashana Haba'ah by Nurit Hirsch, and we have a picture of Nurit Hirsch that we can show if you want to talk about that. Do you want to talk about that one first, and then we'll do...
So this is what you were calling the Pythagorean theorem. This is the golden rule part of the concert. This is the heart of the concert. So, because we can never we don't want to pull away from the idea that for the holidays, it can be a very lonely time for people who are away from family, who have lost family members, and you've experienced that very deeply. And, a blue Christmas is very, very real for many people. So while we're always overwhelmed with TV commercials of joy and happiness and entire families getting along peacefully and opening up lots of gifts, we can't forget people who are economically challenged and feel very much alone. So this fourth section, Hope That Is Forthcoming, the first piece, Bashana Haba'ah, was first composed in response to Palestinian-Israeli conflicts in 1968, which have always been ongoing and are always very threatening for everybody and unsettling in the Middle East area. Nurit became well known in Israel as a folk singer. So after the piece was composed, she set words to it, and at first worked really hard. The words, at first were, kind of down in black, and this is an ongoing struggle. But then it became really lightened up with images of children playing and being outside and looking forward to the light. And it turns out that this piece now has served as an uplift and a message of let's all work together in peace and kindness for many cultures all across the world. So it's been translated in German, Turkish, and it's sung in Iraq.
Oh, wow.
So unbelievably, it's extended, and it's...
She touched something universal.
Right.
The impulse of the music then.
Right. It's very
interesting.
beautiful.
We think that it's so simple to see our children running around, watch birds migrating.
Yeah.
It's a simple act, but for some people, it's a dream because they can't do it. Like if you think about people in Gaza or Ukraine or Hong Kong that just had a massive fire in apartment complex, or any many parts of the world right now, and even in our community for different reasons. Like those simple things are not that easy for some people to do. And it just feels like the end of the tunnel will probably never come, and we only dream about it. And then I tried to pair together with two other pieces. The next piece is the dream Isaiah saw. Why do we have so much conflict? Why do we have to end up to be like this, with so much conflict and violence and fighting, and it's terrible. Perhaps there is a way to agree or disagree in respect, in love, and I think this piece is talking about that. How we come together in unity and diversity. That and the music shows that it's still possible. And then the following piece, it ends the set with a piece called Where the Light Begins. And I will recite a little part of the text here. It starts like this. Perhaps it does not begin, perhaps it is always. Perhaps it takes a lifetime to open our eyes, to learn, to see the luminous line of the map in the dark, the vigil flame in the house of the heart, the love so searing we can't keep from singing. So maybe it starts with us, individual. Yeah.
Which is a lovely sentiment. It's very lyrical music. Yeah.
I would love to then dive into a little bit of the history of Isaiah, since the composer Glenn Rudolph titled this piece "The Dream Isaiah Saw," because it has a tragic development as well. So Glenn Rudolph was hired by the Bach Choir to do a commission for them of Pittsburgh, my hometown, which is why that little factoid stuck in my head. And then 9/11 happened. And within just 2 weeks after that, Glenn Rudolph finished the piece. And it's all dedicated to the survivors of 9/11, that in the music that we all hold when we sing. But the beauty of this piece, I cannot listen to this piece now without tearing up. I imagine a bunch of us will have that reaction in our concerts. Is Isaiah was a prophet, you know, an entire book, a book in both the Old Testament and the New Testament. He's in the Book of Mormon, and he's in the Quran. So he's a multicultural prophet, dreaming and writing about a peace that is to come. And he's associated with the animals. So if we could show that picture.
A Peaceable Kingdom
of
by
the Peaceable
Hicks. Let's put that up, Maeve, while Penny talks about it.
So Edward Hicks was a folk painter. He was a Quaker. He became renowned for this painting called The Peaceable Kingdom, which is based on the book of Isaiah. And he created over 60 versions of this painting. And in this piece, of which we sing about these animals, it illustrates a prophecy of a future peaceable kingdom where predator and prey lay down together. And in the piece we are singing about the leopard and the goat, and the wolf and the lamb, and the ox and the lion, and these animals are pictured in this image. And it's such a cultural memento for us that I'm sure Glenn Rudolph was thinking about this painting when he composed this piece. And if you notice in a little bit corner of the painting, so Edward Hicks was also commenting on, could we not have peace between the colonists and the Native Americans? So it's all wrapped up in this gorgeous, gorgeous
it's interesting. As talking to you, then in the American Art Exhibit they had at Peabody Essex Museum, they had a version of this, and you can see in the corner. You have to look for it, but look for it, folks. There are some colonists apparently having some kind of negotiation with a group of Native Americans. So it is interesting that that's factored in as well, because it's really the people that need to learn to get along. That need to, as you were saying, it's us people. The animals kind of, they do fine. But it's the humans that need the peaceable kingdom. So,
but Glenn Rudolph is picking up on that, right? He is able within that tragic month to say, wait a minute, this may have happened politically with Al Qaeda, and but the people are different, and we have to all come together, no matter what part of the country or religion we follow. And I find that so strong to be able to do that within that month when there's so much fear of the other going on.
And it's part of the power of music, that you can make a pitch like that in a very unifying, harmonic way, though people will match. Resonance, right? So
it begins as a lullaby. It's so beautiful.
It's very pretty. Yeah. You'll like it, people. Well, and then the next section is Gloria. And we have Randol Alan Bass. Am I pronouncing his name correctly? Is it Bass or Bass? But and we have a picture of him to show. Would you like to talk about Gloria? And then we have a clip that we can play.
Do you want to take the lead here?
Well, it picks us back up again. Minji is never going to let us walk out of a concert without feeling joy and looking forward to the future. And that's what this piece does.
Yeah. And then I won't tell. Actually, just come and listen.
Okay.
Come and listen. But I want us to feel that it is possible, that all of these things that we just talked about is possible. And the last section, the title is called Gloria's Thee. Come and experience. Yeah.
Well, let's listen to a clip from Gloria to give people a sense of what it's like. And this is being sung by the University of North Texas Choir. And again, the images you'll see will be of our choral society. And thanks again to Jeremiah Trude for the photos. So here we go. So there you get a sense.
And we have actually brass instruments and so instruments with us. So that'll be so exciting.
Two percussionists.
Yes,
two
percussionists.
full
Yes.
sets, and so it'll be very joyous.
And you mentioned the chamber chorus earlier. But tell us a little bit about the children's chorus also that will be part of the concert. This will be the Immaculate Conception Children's Chorus. And it's the first time the Choral Society has performed with them.
Yeah, so excited to have them. Well, we are very grateful to be able to have concerts at such a wonderful location and the heart of the city, right in the middle, and Immaculate Conception. So I was wondering if there's a way to collaborate with them, and we thought of the idea of collaborating with the students, the children, kids singing, and Miss Paula Kwan is the director of the youth chorus, and we are excited to have them join us. I'm actually going there to work with them next week.
Oh,
so
great.
I'm
Wonderful.
excited to meet them.
Yeah, very exciting.
But they already sound terrific. I heard a little
You've
clip
heard
of
them.
their rehearsal.
Wonderful.
Some beautiful young voices. There's been such a cultural shift in the world between before COVID and post-COVID. And it's not just our, questioning of the scientific studies and fear of vaccines. That's been such a huge shift, but it also coincided with Black Lives Matter and women's rights. And I think the choral world, since you were working pre-COVID and I was singing pre-COVID, and after, there's been this shift away from just singing the big pieces of European white male composers, which was always the academic foundation of choral singing and community choral singing, to afterwards to want to be more inclusive with composers of color and women and religion and I truly believe, I've been reading studies of the younger generations, and they are joining the Choral Society. We are becoming younger, and it's really exciting that there are people in their 20s and 30s singing with us. Minji has brought a whole cadre of college students who have become so loyal to NCS through Minji. They're so loyal to her, but to NCS that they now do guest conducting. They take leads in our community singing, and the generations, the younger generations today, studies are showing they need a reason to come out and participate in community because they've learned how to adjust in working at home alone on their computer systems and laptops and reaching out, through email and websites and how to communicate. They need a reason to come out, and the reason to come out is they have to feel that they can make a change, bring something to the world that they couldn't do just from their home. And that's what this kind of programming does. Just by participating in the audience, you're making us realize that this is all needed.
That's really interesting, Penny. It also strikes me that young people in particular struggle with loneliness. A lot of that has to do, many people think, with social media, which is fairly, you connect with the world, but not with your friends.
Yeah.
It's very, ironically, kind of strangely isolating. But choral singing is inherently communal. And because of the resonance of the harmonies, you are in tune, you are literally in sync with other people.
Yeah, that's what's so
and
special.
so it works to overcome loneliness, I think, as well, and develop, almost by definition, a communal sense that's unifying, and we certainly need that. But that brings us into what I also wanted to ask the two of you about, because I love holiday concerts. I'm not a religious person, but I love holiday concerts. I love Christmas, Hanukkah, bring some Kwanzaa in there. Solstice celebrations this time of year just to me calls out for a concert. And fortunately in Newburyport, there's a full calendar of December concerts. You don't even have to leave Newburyport by a lot of groups. But you're both accomplished music educators, and I know you're both very thoughtful people, and so I have this opportunity to ask you, why do you think, what is it about music's power and impact that makes holiday concerts like Winter Fanfare so enduringly beloved and needed by so many of us?
I think actually just in general preparing concert, I think for me, the more important part lies in the rehearsal process rather than having the concert, because that's when we come together. I really love to emphasize the word that you chose to use, communal.
Yeah.
There are a lot of different art forms, and choral, what's so special about choral singing or preparing choral concert together is that we come together and we have to shed off a little bit of my own to be in harmony with others, and to practice that level of patience and that level of like trying to be tuned with others, and it just teaches us a lot, perhaps life skill in some ways, in many ways actually.
Yeah, actually.
So I want to say like the choral music is an artwork of sound mosaic that we individually all have this contribution that we come together and we sing different notes in the chord, in the music, because we have different voice parts. But they all are very important.
Yeah.
And they all are unique, and they all have their own function. And those all functions come together, and they create a harmony together.
Absolutely.
And just remembering that we shed off a little bit of my own to be in tune with others, but then still know that we all have this uniqueness in individual notes that will come together in harmony. So even if we are not all singing unison, it still is so special. And even the rests in the music, they are special too, because they're not just rests, they're part of music. So going back to your like a holiday part, I think it's just the time of the year where there's just a lot of different kinds of emotions. The whole society or the culture itself is kind of promoting this busyness of the time, gift buying, and it needs to be joyous. Yes, it is joyous. We are expecting for the new year, but then also we want to bring and acknowledge that maybe there are those who are, who need a little bit of more love at this time. Like personally, if I can share a little personal story, like my dad passed this year. And it's been difficult. There were days that I just don't want to get up, you know, like, because I didn't want to get up. And the sunshine felt more painful than perhaps the darkness. And I'm sure there are some people like that too. So I hope that this holiday concert, where we are trying to reflect this different kinds of directions in moods and emotions and understanding, I hope they can come and still feel they are included in this season.
Absolutely. There's universality to music, and the range of emotions that music hits means we can all feel while they're singing or listening to the music that we're all part of the human species, and we all have similar kinds of emotions, and we can cycle through them, and there's a release in that that is healing.
Right. Well, all we have to do is think about the story, how the Grinch stole Christmas, because he took all the gifts away, and he couldn't believe that the village didn't need anything, just each other. And what did they do? They came together and they sang. And that's when,
Of course they
of
did.
course, they sang. And that's when the Grinch's heart
I love
grew
that.
10 times bigger that day. That wonderful Dr. Seuss story.
I'm gonna have to get the book for my little one.
Oh, I'm going to get it for you. The chorus will get it for
I
you.
didn't know the story. Wow.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, chorus members, we're going to do this. Get ready. We're all going to sing this book for Minji.
It's a plan.
That's so funny.
I knew you would have great things to say about that. It's something that
I had no idea about the story.
I knew it would be fun to talk to you both about this concert, and it
Ending with
certainly
Grinch.
has been. And I thank you so much for your insights and your sensitivity and your knowledge and your time. Thank you so much for coming on the morning show to talk about Winter Fanfare. And once again, everybody, it will be Friday, December 12th at 7:30 and Sunday, December 14th at 3 p.m., both concerts at Immaculate Conception Church on Green Street. And if you want more information or tickets, go to newburyportchoralsociety.org/events. Easy to remember. Thank you so much. It's really
The
been fun
Sunday
to have
concert
you here.
is sold out.
So look for Saturday.
Look for
Friday.
Friday. Look for
Friday.
Friday.
Look for
Yeah.
Friday. Forget Saturday.
And get your tickets now.
And get your tickets now. That's it for today, everybody. Please join us again next Thursday at 9 for the morning show. And until then, be well and go sing with some other people. All right. Thanks, everybody. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye.